Si l'edad de Sarajevo pun ubekan. Do you really think Sarajevo is full of assassins? Oscar Pokorik. Following the decision of the Congress of Berlin in 1878, Austria-Hungary occupied the provinces of Bosnia and Herzegovina. Officially, the territories remained under Ottoman rule until their annexation by Austria-Hungary in 1908, but were governed by the Austro-Hungarian Empire. Administrative authorities sought to recruit locals for the Austro-Hungarian army immediately after the occupation, and to that end established a military boarding school, or the Military Nabin Pens und At, for boys in Sarajevo. Young men were levied for military service from 1882 onwards, not least as a means of compensation for all the substantial investment the empire was making to the provinces. Given the complex constitutional circumstances for the occupied territory, Bosnian conscripts had to swear a special oath. The uniforms also reflected and respected local customs. Squads, non-commissioned officers, NCOs and officers of Muslim faith wore a fez, while non-Muslim officers wore a black officer's cap. Oriental-looking breeches, or the kinin husin, were also the second characteristics attributed to the Bosnian-Herzegovinian units. In 1894, four Bosnian-Herzegovinian infantry regiments number 1 to 4 were formed in 1895. Each regiment received a military band. In 1903, the 17th company of each regiment was separated from the mother regiment and joined into a Bosnia-Herzegovinian Herzegovina battalion, or recruiting district in Sarajevo. When World War I broke out, 10,156 men were serving in the four Bosnian-Herzegovinian regiments, plus 21,397 reservists, as well as 434 men in the Herzegovina battalion, plus 1,208 reservists. This made roughly 5% of the entire troop strength of the Kaiserlich und Königlich, or the K.U.K army. This made up roughly 5% of the entire troop strength of the Kaiserlich und Königlich, or the K.U.K, or the K.U.K army. From 1891 onwards, Bosnia-Herzegovinian units were relocated to different garrisons in the monarchy, first in Vienna, then Budapest, and then later Graz, Riga, Dudenstadt, Tariz, and Buka and Lita. The Bosnian-Herzegovinian troops fought on all major fronts where Austro-Hungarian troops were stationed during the First World War. However, individual regiments were only occasionally deployed as a whole. Mostly individual battalions fought separately from their original regiments. One likely incomplete list of names less than 37 divisions of which Bosnian-Herzegovinian troops were assigned during the war. Contrary to some of the authorities' fears, there was no problem with the Bosnian-Herzegovinian troops and their morale during the outbreak of the war. The Serbian Orthodox soldiers often felt that being considered unreliable insulted their soldiers' honor, but overall the Bosnian-Herzegovinian troops proved to be particularly reliable and strong in combat, with a minor exception for some isolated incidents. Maybe rape, looting, savagery, especially during the punishment expedition. That everyone did it, so who knows, some isolated incidents. In September 1915, two additional Bosnian-Herzegovina Herzegovina battalions were formed, number 2 and number 3, which were followed in early 1916 by the Herzegovina battalion number 4 to number 8, and in the autumn by the infantry number regiment 5. While the Herzegovina battalion number 1 and number 4 remained units until the end of the war, the rest together were parts of the regiment, then were regrouped into new Bosnian-Herzegovina infantry regiments number 6 and number 8 in February 1918. This was part of the reorganization of the K.U.K, or the Kaiserlich und Königlich, or the K.U.K army in 1917 to 1918, when the number of battalions were reduced to 3 per regiment. From October 1917 to March 1918, there was an additional Bosnian-Herzegovinian infantry regiment number 10, which consisted of the remaining of the previously established 5th Regiment. One military operation stands out to this day as an unparalleled example of the courage of the Bosnian-Herzegovinian troops, known as the Bosniaks. The storming of Mont Fier of the Montelle Massacre in South Tyrol on the 7th of June 1916. The operation took place as part of the Battle of Asiago, also known as the Trento Offensive, by launching a surprise attack through the mountains towards Venice and thereby opening a rare front against the Italian troops on the Azonzo front. This operation was supposed to force Italy into a peace agreement. The attack finally reached an impasse on terrain with only scarce cover in the southern rim of the Asiago Basin, in the area commonly known as the Siete Comini. The Bosnian-Herzegovinian infantry number 2 were deployed together with the K.U.K, the Kaiserlich und Königlich infantry regiment number 11, Bohemian and number 7th Streleten, which was part of Tyrol, combined with the 11th Infantry Brigade of Montefiore. These belonged to the 6th Infantry Divisions under Lieutenant Field Marshal Ision Sonnenberg Hartenstein. also a 2-star general, and respectively the Iron Corps number 3 from Gat Streise. In order to open the way to Bassano and move further into the Venetian plains, the imposing massif of Montfeuillot, which was 1,824 meters high, had to be conquered. Eventually, after 2 days of heavy fighting, the Sturmbanngriffe Battalion number 3 under Lieutenant Colonel Stefan Dukic succeeded in capturing the summit of Montfeuillot through close quarters melee combat, and managed to hold it against Italian counterattacks, and the fighting would actually continue well into the night time. 208 Bosniaks fell during these battles, as well as 1,232 Italian Alpinis of the 1st and 5th Regiment. The fighting at times was extremely fierce. Apparently, during the last hours of the struggle for Montfeuillot, the summit, no prisoners were taken on either side. As many as the officers had fallen, there were several wounded NCOs, and they often led the attacks. Heroic feats were reported by all units deployed, in part carried out by the young soldiers and their own initiatives. It was the battles like this, that Montfeuillot and the ensuing decoration of the participating troops of the Bosniaks, that led the Bosnian-Herzegovinian Infantry Regiment No. 2 to become known as the bravest regiment of the entire Kutschlich und Karlich Army, or the K.U.K Army. Captain Goromir Golovac was awarded the Knight's Cross of the Military Order of Mother Teresa, or Mary Teresa, in 1917 as the Bosniak officer. He was also a member of the Xavier Bosniaks. Another significant role played by the Bosniaks in the breakthrough of the Pflichtdomenmine, or the Caporetto Offensive in 1917, was when 9,000 Bosniaks, corresponding with about a fifth of all Austro-Hungarian troops of the first line, took part in the 12th Battle of the Ostonzo River, or the Battle of Caporetto. Bosniaks were also the first Austro-Hungarian soldiers to cross over the Tagliamento. The collapse of the Austro-Hungarian Empire naturally brought about the disbandment and the dissolution of the K.U.K, the Kaiserlich und Königlich Army, and hence the Bosnian-Herzegovinian troops. They went back to their home country, although several thousand Bosniaks saw their return delayed, having been captured as prisoners of war by either Russia, Italy, especially Italy, or even their allies in Italy, such as the French, British, and the Americans. Yes, more about that later. Some testimonies for these military formations, which only last for 35 years between the K.U.K or the Kaiserlich und Königlich Army, had been preserved, especially from the time of the First World War. Thus, a series of smaller movements and monuments were found in the area of the former Isonzo front, as well as the Museum of Military History in Vienna, in the Garson Church of Graz, and erected several relatives of the Austrian Federal Army, and the Malaga Superior of Montfeuillot and the Metelli. The monuments at the military cemetery in Logpog, Madagatatom, displayed a Bosniak next to a member of the Landwehr mountain troops. The largest cemetery for Bosnian-Herzegovinian soldiers abroad is in Leibrig, south of Graz, where from 1915 on a newly erected barracks, the replacement troops of the Bosnian-Herzegovinian Infantry Regiment No. 2 were stationed along with the prison camp and the military hospital. Reviewing the Bosnian-Herzegovinian troops of the K.U.K or the Kaiserlich und Königlich Army, or the K.U.K Army, has gained importance in the past decades in light of the Federation of Bosnia-Herzegovina from former Yugoslavia. Publications and museums, such as one placed on the square on the street of the assassination of Franz Ferdinand, Archduke of Austria East, and his wife Sophia, Duchess of Austria, in Sarajevo. This also sheds light on the country's military past, and also Bosniak Gavrilo Princip was the Bosniak who started the whole war in the first place, so Sarajevo was the breeding ground for World War I. And just to end off here, there's also one in Ladislav Kolyfin, a sculpture in Prague. And that's it, the Bosniaks, the Bosnian-Herzegovinians, the Muslims of the Imperial Christian Army. And there you go, hope you enjoyed, hope you learned something. 30 minutes, not bad for me. Anyway, I hope you learned something about the Bosniaks. Anyway, I might go and make a new schedule, but I'm gonna pretty much I'll still do 10 parts of Minority Report and guns and stuff, but I'm gonna just do them as they come and not try to wait out for the 10 parts and then do this and do that. So at least the thing with a playlist is that I can make it in the order I want, so I can have the 10, then Minority Report, then guns. So yeah, that was a big feature for me, like just doing it as they come, like 1, 2, okay, if I got 3, have to do 3 there, 4, 5, so it makes sense to do as it comes. So if I can't do, say, Conrad von Hutzendorf today, I could do Bosnia today, and just chip it one at a time, and instead of waiting, because I think that's the downfall of the British season and why it took so long to end. Because yeah, because I had to wait on the Kiwis, and then I was like, nah, and then I tried to make like two of them go out simultaneously, so Australians and Aboriginals and stuff like that, especially when I'm working now. So it's not like I'm home all day and could record one in the morning, one in the evening, and have them both up by 10 o'clock in the night. But I'm gonna try and get better at scheduling. But for now, they come as they come. So if anything, if you see a weapons video tomorrow, don't think it's out of place. I'm gonna also do some last stuff, especially their armor, Austro-Hungarian armor, which is the Roman Felkar, which only saw 2 made. So I might talk about experimental tanks, but there's only so much you can do in the Alps. Probably on the Eastern Front it would make more sense to have a bit more armor, but in the Alps there's no tanks at all. So yeah, but let's see about that. Anyway, hope you enjoyed, hope you learned something, and just a mini update at the end, I guess. But when you see guns and stuff, you'll kind of realize that I'm just trying to finish Austria-Hungary, because the fatigue kind of gets to you. I might be happy and might be real energetic, even though I'm talking about tens of thousands of people dead. But it's like the fatigue of Britain. I was doing it for so long, it was just like another British episode. So plus the accents are kind of fun. So yeah, that's another thing. It's just like me talking normal. So there's nothing really fun about it. That's why, say, Africa, Ireland, Scotland, and I must say Newfoundland here was kind of fun. But anyway, hope you enjoyed, hope you learned something, and you see it's a bit quieter now, but it won't always be so, but I'll try my best to stop when noise starts and continue when noise stops. So learn something for the 50th time. Later.